Hey everyone, I'm Lisa Baudouin. Welcome to Lisa's chat room. Today is Tuesday, January 12th, 2025. And in this video, I had just posted one about the wash machine stuff. So I thought, I'm going to do this too really quick. This video is about distilled white vinegar and its amazing uses that I use it for in my home. But before I begin, I have to disclose I'm not an expert in anything. Anything I share with you, if you try it, use it, or buy it, you do so at your own risk and peril. Also, too, I'm not affiliated, endorsed, or re-endorsed by any company or product that I talk about in my videos. And then finally, if you get something from this video, please like, subscribe, share with friends and family, and always drop a comment below because I do read and sometimes vet out certain comments that are really bad or whatever. So anyway, point is, moving on, talking about distilled vinegar here and the wonderful uses I get from it. For me, distilled vinegar is the necessary cleaning tool in my house. I use it for so many different things. This and the baking soda and the washing soda in my laundry. So that's the first reason I have it. And I have it in a bottle. Now in the basement, I have it full concentrate, and I never put any more than about this much in the bottle. And then in the kitchen, I have under the counter, I have one, but I have about this much water and this much distilled vinegar in it. I don't like to keep too much stuff in the bottle. For one, this is acidic, highly acidic, and it's a concentrate that you wouldn't believe went up just 1 degree. So this is 5% acidity. If you go up 6%, it is much more acidic. And if you go up 25%, it is like totally caustic acidic. Now, with that, all of these are acidic. Make sure you use rubber gloves. Make sure you have glasses on. Make sure you're protecting your arms. And be mindful that you are working with a chemical, which is what I do. Any chemical, I'm very mindful of. So what I do is I pour it in. I use my little filtering canister thing here, and I pour that in. And then I have one upstairs. But I don't put in a lot because I just don't think it's necessary to have a whole lot in there. And I just like to clean out the bottle and whatnot every once in a while. This actually lasts me quite a bit, and you get more bang for your buck when you buy this type of product for cleaning too. My cleaning products, no more than a handful of cleaning products that I have as far as caustic cleaning products, and I use very little of them. I'm very mindful of them when I use them. But this as well, this is like under $5 for a whole dang gallon, which is wonderful. And I use it for so many different things. And sometimes I have it more concentrated and sometimes less. Like in the kitchen, if I'm wiping down a counter or whatnot, I have it less concentrate. Now, some people will argue, well, it's not really good against viruses and things like that. So let's just talk about the viruses here. Let's talk about the invaders of your home. You've got viruses, bacteria, prions, fungal, parasites, and then you have your toxins. You have your plastics, your VOCs, and your metal. Kind of introducing you to this thought. So this, of course, is going to get hopefully rid of a lot of the contaminants. Now, the other thing that this mixes with is, like I said, the water, the heat. Heat helps kill things too, like medical bags. That's how I learned about that, was when I was in medical assistant school years ago in the 90s. You use an autoclave, which steams the utensils that are used in minor surgeries or whatnot. You autoclave them, you steam them, and it kills everything. So mixing this with really super hot water also helps to reduce and limit any of those invaders. So that's another reason why I use very hot water with my wash, because it is helping. Now, is it 100%? Probably not 100%, but I also do other things when people are sick, or once in a while I'll go around, I'll clean all the handles of my doorknobs, I'll do certain things. I also, talk to people about the parenting things that they can do for their kids. For instance, make sure the kids wash their hands when they first get home. Make sure that when they brush their teeth, they actually rinse their toothbrush out pretty well before they brush their teeth, to remove any type of bacterial growth or mildew on the toothbrush. Make sure they change them out once in a while. And toothbrushes are made out of what? Plastic. So we've got that issue, right? I'm always like thinking about things like that, problem solving ability. And so I share that information. So bottom line here, does it get rid of all of the germs? Probably not. But it does a very, very good job on its own. So that's one of the uses that, just cleaning up the countertops and things, that's a use I use it for. But mostly what I use it for is my wash and treating brand new clothes, putting them in a separate wash machine over there and spritzing them down with the distilled vinegar spritz and letting them sit for a night and then washing them, because that is so acidic that it's going to break down plastics. And that's the whole point. I had once bought a spritz bottle that was really cheap, and within, I don't know, a week, it was broken down because it had literally burnt out the rubber seal up here. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I got to buy a decent spritz bottle. So I get these at Menards, I think. And just Menards, Home Depot, you can find them. Buy the ones that are a little bit better made. And then again, don't fill them all the way up. Just put in a little bit, because you don't want it eating away at the plastic inside, right? So anyway, point is, then getting back to it, that's what I do with the laundry. And then sometimes I will mix it with the laundry, depending on how that chemical is in that fabric. Like I have a t-shirt in here that I have tried to clean since November, over and over and over. And part of my problem with this is because it's wintertime outside. It's very, very cold. It's like -2 right now. So that's part of my issue, because one of the things I do is when I have materials, clothing, whatever, that has stuff on it, I usually take it outside and spritz it with the distilled vinegar. But unfortunately, it's so cold outside, I cannot do that. So do not spritz clothes in your basement or anywhere. You got to be careful not to breathe this in. Remember, this is a very caustic chemical. So, but one of the things I like to do is use this as sort of a dry cleaning method, and it does remove so much mold and mildew. It's just unbelievable how it works, and it works in combination. Sometimes it'll do it alone, and sometimes it'll do it with your washing sodas or your baking sodas or salts, things like that. So here I have a bag up here, and I bought this bag at Value Village, and it really smelled. It was horrible. So what I did was I took this container here, I put it in my sink, I filled it up about maybe 1/4 of the way. I put in about 1/8 of a cup of washing soda and about 1/2 a cup of distilled vinegar, and it's going to react. So I had it in here. Then I put my bag in there, and then I filled it up all the way, and then I put a container top on it, and I let it soak for about a week, and it does not smell. It's really great. I'm so happy about that. Now I'm going to have to tumble this in the dryer, so it's not going to be perfect, because this is made out of that stuff that's got insulation inside, and that's got to be dried out. You can't just let that sit and dry, because it will get mildewy. So I have to dry it out completely in a dryer. But that's an example of how great distilled vinegar is. The other example is between that and the washing soda, how great that takes out the darn smells, mildewy smells of a coat. For example, I usually buy all my clothing over at Value Village or Salvation Army or wherever. So first of all, I want to get out whatever's in it, right? So making sure that I use very hot water. I'm using the distilled vinegar. I'm using the baking soda and stuff. It's removing the invaders. But what's left usually is the smell, especially Value Village. Unfortunately, I love that store, but there's a lot of smell in the clothes. So I bought a couple coats. I bought this coat and I bought this coat. And I absolutely love them. They were beautiful, but they smelled to high heaven. So I washed this with washing soda and distilled vinegar, and I let it soak for a while first, maybe a day or two, and then I would rinse it out and do it a couple times. And it is absolutely smell-free. There is no mildew or mold smell or anything in this coat. It doesn't smell. It doesn't smell like a flower. It doesn't smell like anything. And if I chose to make something smell with some type of scent, what I would do is I would use something like an Epsom salts that has some kind of a scent in it. And I would just add that to the water just a little bit. I do use the Epsom salts. And Epsom salt is great. It's another end-all, cure-all thing that I have in my little arsenal of cleaning and whatnot. Salts are great. They clean, and they're also preservatives. Epsom salt is actually great for like softening clothes and things like that. So you can add a little bit. I would add 1/8 of a cup to your wash, and that's about it. You can buy these in different types of smells. So, but also too, remember, turn it around and see what those chemicals are that are making the smell. So instead, maybe you'd want to use some type of an organic oil, but that's going to be difficult because you've got a couple drops of oil that's going to have to solute down and disperse into a whole tub of water. So that's why if I was going to do that, I would just use something like this with the Epsom salts and some type of scent. Right. So point is it cleaned this so perfectly. Now, the problem with this coat was that I can't wash it. It is not meant to be washed. It is dry clean only. So part of my issue, of course, is it's winter outside. So I can't go outside and spritz this down. Luckily, I bought this in the summer and I had taken it outside and I put it inside out and I thoroughly spritzed it down with distilled vinegar, let it completely dry. And I did that about 5-6 times, completely drying it in between. And then I turned it, the right side out and did it again. And there's absolutely no smell to this coat. It smells perfectly fine. And then I also vacuumed it. So I vacuumed off any kind of debris or anything. And it's not dirty at all. It's actually a really beautiful coat. I love this coat. It's so pretty. I love that color. So anyway, I've got that. And then the final thing I want to talk about are my floors and my counter surfaces. Now my floors, I do have a mop that I show you in my product review playlist. It's just a Swiffer mop that I use. And I do fill the container with a little bit of distilled vinegar. That's all I use in there. A little bit of distilled vinegar and really hot water. Hot water is the end all be all. As a matter of fact, what I'd like to do is get myself one of those steamers. I don't have a lot of flooring. My house is pretty small, but I would like to just get a steamer. And why? Going back to the autoclave. The autoclave would clean all those tools, scalpel and scissors and things like that were used in those first aid packs that I would make. And so using very, very hot water, that does kill a lot of the viruses and bacterias and things like that. And also, too, it probably breaks down a lot of the chemicals that reside on the floor, that land on the floor, and it removes it. I can tell you, my floors do not smell. My house does not smell like vinegar. Nothing smells like vinegar in my house. It's just a nicely smelling home. It's very clean smelling. And between that and my air purifiers, which I don't run them all the time, but I do have my air purifiers here. I'll talk about them more when I'm talking about the final way to remove lead out of your house and out of your property. I already talked about reduce it when it gets into your yard and then vacuuming, but air purifiers is the next step. The air purification are HEPA, and so that's what I've got. And so anyway, just getting back to the distilled vinegar, that's what I use in my house. It works really, really well. I wipe down my surfaces and everything's clean. And it cost me a little over $3 and some change for a whole gallon of distilled vinegar when I went back into the basement so I can just sit and think here. They have got all kinds of cleaners out there now that supposedly, remove your smells and remove all this stuff. And I know one commercial actually shows someone like me using distilled vinegar and then they push them aside. What I want you to do is when you buy those things, I want you to turn them around and look at the product clusters. What ingredients are in that container and what are the cluster groups? The chemicals, are they meant for the purpose of the product? Are they meant to preserve the product? Are they fragrances? Additives, what are they? And the question, even aside from can you afford them, is first question I ask is how do they break down in the environment? Is this safe for the environment? Because I don't care what tests are out there. It's not safe for the environment, then I'm not using it. It's not safe for me. I don't care how little they tell me it's safe. I don't give a damn. My rules, my way in my home. And I hope you feel the same way too. So that's it for this video. Please like, subscribe, share with friends and family, and drop that comment. And always, always, please stay safe and stay healthy. And I'll see you again next time, hopefully back here in Lisa's chat room.